Five Nights at Freddy's. Hey guys, it is Dylan Kurosaki coming back with some more Five Nights at Freddy's, The Silver Eyes. And I just want to actually talk about the title real quick. Remember in the game, the very first one, of when they look at you, like very creepily, I just noticed that their eyes are actually silver, like the pupils. That's probably why they call it that, because it's to symbolize that they are kids inside the animatronics. And that's why they're looking at you, because they want to let you know that they are kids inside of them. And that's probably why they say it's me. It's more of a cry out for help, that you're trying to help them. And that's probably why they're coming after you, because they are crying out for help. They want the main person to help them. Anyways, I know that was a long intro, but I wanted to explain that because, you know, it makes sense on why they're coming after you in the first place. Anyways, let's get right back into it. And yes, I had to bookmark the page, because when I initially closed the book, I forgot to put the bookmark in. Well, I actually found the page where we were at last time. And as before, I have to go down to close. When angle myself like this. I know this is really weird, but I have to do this so that way I can look at you guys while reading. Yes, look at you guys while reading. Yes. Okay. Okay, no, stop being weird to read the book. Alright. Alright, let me just angle myself. Alright. Like the rest of the house, her bedroom was untouched. The walls were pale pink, and the ceiling, which sloped dramatically on one side to follow the line of the roof, was painted to match her old bed. Still stood against the wall, beneath a large window. The mattress was still intact. Though the sheets were gone, the window was cracked slightly open and rotting lace curtains. And I'm saying that very clearly because the house was actually on fire. I think. Yeah, it sounds like the house was on fire for some reason. It sounds like it because it says that there were rotting lace curtains. Wavered in the gentle breeze outside. There was a dark water stain in the paint beneath the window, where the weather had gotten in over the years, betraying the house's neglect. Charlie climbed onto her bed and forced the window shut. It obeyed with a squeak, and Charlie stepped back and turned her attention to the rest of the room. To her father's creations. Ooh, interesting. Their first night in the house, Charlie has been afraid to sleep alone. Oh, Probably because of the animatronics. She did not remember the night, but her father told her about it often, that the story had taken on quite a quality of memory. She sat up and wailed until her father came to find her. Now, that is actually a crucial part in the lore, because Mingo probably was in the room. It was probably Mango. Because in the FNAF lore, there was a family, and Charlie, I believe, was the baby. Because there was a baby, the crying child, and the sister. So the baby is Charlie, which means this is really more about the youngest, the baby. Her name's Charlie, the baby. I know a lot about the lore, okay guys? I know a lot. I had to do a lot of research on it. She sat up and wailed until her father came to find her, until he scooped her up and held her and promised her he would make sure she was never alone again. The next morning, he took her by the hand and led her to the garage, where he set to work keeping that promise. The first of his inventions was a purple rabbit. The first of his inventions was a purple rabbit, now gray with age, from years of sitting in the sunlight. Her father had named him Theodore. He was the size of a 3-year-old child, her size at the time. He had plush fur, shining eyes, and a dipper red bow tie. He didn't do much, only waved a hand to set to the side and said in her father's voice, "I love you, Charlie." But it was enough to give her night watchers something to keep her company when she could not sleep. Right now, Theodore sat in a white wicker chair in the far corner of the room. Charlie waved at him, but not activated. He did not wave back. After Theodore, the toys got more complex. Some worked and some did not. Some seemed to have permanent glitches. Yeah, that could score any kid. That could score any kid. While others simply did not appeal to Charlie's childish imagination. She knew her father took those back to his workshop and recycled them for parts. Okay, wow. Wow, William. Wow. I know your name now, William. Yes. Though she did not like to watch them be dismantled. Oh! I just realized something! The endoskeletons. There were probably endoskeletons in them. That's probably why we get a lot of those in the FNAF games. But the ones that were kept, those she loved, were here now, looking at her unexpectedly, smiling. Charlie pushed a button beside her bed. It gave away stiffly, but nothing happened. She pushed it again, holding it down longer, and this time across the room, the very creak of metal on metal. The unicorn began to move. The unicorn, Charlie had named him Stanley for some reason. She could no longer remember. Was made of metal and be painted glossy white. He strutted around the room on a circular track, bobbing his head stiffly up and down, and the track squealed as Stanley rounded the corner and stopped beside the bed. Charlie knelt beside him on the floor and patted his flank. His glossy paint was chipped and peeling, and his face was given over to rust. His eyes were lively, gazing out of decay. "You need a new coat of paint, Stanley," Charlie said, and stared at the unicorn head. He stared ahead, unresponsive. At the foot of the bed, there was a wheel made of patched together. It had always reminded her of something she might find on a submarine. A yellow submarine! Okay, a yellow submarine! I had to do that. Charlie turned it. It stuck for a moment, then gave away, watching as it always did, and across the room, the smallest closet door swung open! Didn't mean to scare you. Out! Sailed Ella on hunchback. It's outside door, bearing a teacup and saucer in her tiny hands like an offering. Ella's paint-plaid dress was still crisp, and her painted leather shoes were shown. Perhaps the closet had protected her from damage of the damp. That's smart. That is smart. Very smart, very smart. I am so smart. I am so smart. S-M-O-T. S-M-O-T. Charlie had an identical outfit back when she and Ella were the same height. "Hi, Ella," she said softly. The real around Ella retreated to the closet again. The door closed behind her. Charlie followed her. The closet's been built to align with a slant of the ceiling, and there were 3 of them. Ella lived in the short one, which was about 3.5 feet tall. Next to it was one a foot or so taller. That was a good choice of words. And a third closet to the bedroom door, the same height as the rest of the room. She smiled, remembering. Why did you have 3 closets? Thought I demanded the first time he came over. She looked at him vaguely, confused by the question. "'Cause of how many they are," she said finally. She pointed. "Differently to the littlest one. That one's Ella's anyway," she added. John nodded, satisfied. Good on you, John. Good on you. And I'm surprised that in the FNAF book, they named a character in the book after John. You probably know what I'm talking about, FNAF. Yes, you shout out, John, FNAF. If you're watching this video, though. Charlie shook her head and opened the door to the middle closet, or tried to. The knob stopped with a jolt. It was locked. She waited a few times, but gave up without much conversation. She crouched down to the floor and glanced up at the tallest closet, a big girl closet that she would someday grow into. You won't need it until you're bigger, her father would say. But that day never came. So down now hung open slightly, but Charlie didn't disturb it. It had opened for her and had given away to time. She moved to stand. She noticed something shiny had hidden under the rim and locked middle door. She leaned forward to pick it up. It was broken off piece of a circuit board. Ooh, circuit board. Interesting. That's it. That is very interesting. Maybe baby circus? That's just a guess to me. Nuts, bolts, scraps, and parts have turned up all over the place. Once upon a time, her father always has straight parts in his pockets. He would carry something he was working on and set it down and forget where it was, or worse, put something aside for safekeeping, never to be seen again. Ooh. There was also a strand of her hair clinging to it. She unwounded it carefully from the tiny lip of metal it was stuck on. Finally, at stove, she had been putting it off, so he crossed the room and picked up Theodore. His back had not faded in the sun like the rest of his body, and it was some red dark purple she remembered. She pressed the button on the base of his neck. Wait a minute. The only Bonnie-esque character that was childlike was Bonbon. Maybe Bomber was a nickname. Maybe his name is Theodore. That is something to think about, guys. Let's think about it. Because that's the only Bonnie-esque rabbit character that had a purple bow tie. Yeah, and he was childlike too. So let's think about that, guys. Think about it. But remained lifeless. His fur was threadbare. Get it? Threadbare? Freddy Fazbear? Okay, I'm sorry, I should stop. 1 year hanging loose. Yep, guys, this might be Bonbon. He might be Bonbon. Because it sounds like it. But let's think about it. Think about it. His fur was threadbare, 1 year hanging loose by a single watching thread. Though the hole could see green plastic of his circuit board, Charlie held her breath, listening fearfully for something. I'm trying to sit down to the same face, I'm sorry. The rabbit said in barely audible, halting noise, and Charlie set him down, her face hot and her chest pinched tight. He had not really expected to hear her voice again. I love you too. Wow! 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 Charlie looked around the room. When she was a child, it had been her own magical world, and she was possessive of it. Only a few chosen friends were even allowed inside. She went to her bed and said, Stanley, moving on his track again. She left, closing the door behind her before the little unicorn came to a halt. She went down to the back door to the driveway and stopped in front of the garage. She had been her father's workshop. Half buried in the gravel a few feet away was a piece of metal, and Charlie went to pick it up. It was jointed in the middle. She held it in her hand, smiling a little as she bent it back and forth. An elbow joint, she thought. I wonder who that was going to belong to. Freddy, probably. Probably Freddy. Probably. She had stood in the exact spot many times before. She closed her eyes and the memory overwhelmed her. She was a little girl again, sitting on the floor of her father's workshop, playing with scraps of wood and metal as though they were toy blocks. Not safe for a child. Not safe. Trying to build a tower with uneven pieces. The top was hot. She was sweaty grimes sticking to her legs as she sat in her shorts and sneakers. She could almost smell some metallic odor of the soldering iron. Her father nearby either side working on Stanley the unicorn. Stanley's face was still unfinished, one side white and shining and friendly in a gleaming brown that seemed almost to see. The other half of the toy's face was all exposed circuit boards and metal parts. Charlie's father looked at her and smiled back beloved. In a darkened corner behind her father, barely visible, hung a jumble of metal limbs and a twisted skeleton with burning silver eyes. Charlie tried never to look at it because it can move. Yes, I scare you. But as her father worked, as he played with her makeshift toys, her eye was drawn back to it again and again. The limbs contorted, seemed almost mocking with a ghastly gesture, and yet something about it suggested enormous pain. Daddy, Charlie said, and her father did not look up from his work. Daddy, she said again, more urgently, and this time he turned around slowly to know what was as though not fully present in the world. What do you need, sweetie? She pointed at the burned skeleton. Does it hurt? She wanted to ask the question, but when she looked into her father's eyes, she found she could not. She shook her head. Nothing. Nothing. He nodded at her with an absent smile and went back to his work. Behind him, the creature gave another awful twitch, and his eyes still burned. Hope you liked another part of the first chapter of the Silver Eyes. Hope you guys enjoyed that. We're learning new things every day. Anyways, guys, hope you enjoyed another passage from the world of Five Nights at Freddy's. And if you want to see more videos like this one, you know what to do. Ask to blast that like button and keep chillaxing, relaxing, and don't stop believing. And most of all, I love all of you.